Hey guys, what's up? It's Ninja. And before I get into the video, I just want to say thank you for the massive support I got on that Stam Crow video. It was really nice to see all the useful tips and stuff and the feedback you guys gave. It was really great. It really was. And since it's Mid-Year Mayhem, I thought, fuck it. I'll make a video for the Magplar I've been playing. And this thing is an absolute unit. Absolute unit. We're talking like 40k resistances, 4k spell damage, and 23k pen, with alternative setups that can push even higher, with about the same amount of tankiness. I mean, it's less tanky, but you know, more damage, right? That's fun. This build is great for 1vxing. It's a king in Battlegrounds. I frequently hit 1,000,000 damage with it and just get like 34 kills or some shit. It's fucking amazing. This build puts out insane damage, just out of nowhere, and people don't see it coming. And to combine with the healing kit we've got, Magplar is in a great spot right now. I have some clips with my buddy Coles at the end where we were 2vxing, and I got some other attempts at 1vxing. I'm not the greatest at it yet, but I'm definitely getting some progress. And with the Magplar, it feels a lot easier than other mag classes to 1vx on. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoy this build. So let's get into the build. I have 28k mag, 21.5k max health, which goes up in PvP to about 28k, which is pretty good. We have 17k max stamina. Spell damage in the upper end goes to 4k without continuous. And we have some crazy resistances, but let me talk about the recoveries for a second. So we're sitting on 1600 mag recovery. We don't have any magical weapons, but we have a lot of ways to get magic back. We have 1200 health recovery, 1000 stam recovery, which is really good. If we put down our rune gives us 240 mag recovery a second. So that's basically like 1800 right there. And then when we pop a pot, I run tripods, we get up to about 2k mag recovery, 1600 health recovery, and 1400 stam recovery. All those things tend to go up more. And the mag recovery is a little bit elusive because of the rune. It doesn't show you it. So that's something to be aware of. So let's get into the resistances because I really want to show that off. 46k spell, 43k physical. And then it goes to 37k spell and 34k physical without the buff. I think that's pretty good. We are definitely tanky, and you might think, well, if we're that tanky, we probably don't hit hard at all. But then we do this, 4k spell damage, and we're sitting at about 23k pen. So we are extremely tanky and hit very, very hard. 23k pen is enough. Anybody that's at like 30k resistances, which is a lot of people, they basically have 5k to us. And you can get even higher than that if you want to. I run the sugar skulls, you know, food, health recovery, all that stuff. And I run the atronarch mundus. It's just the best bang for your buck. Alright, now let's get into the gear. So on the front bar, I'm running the Stuhns greatsword and sharpened with berserker damage enchant. This will give you spell damage, pen, spell damage, and 5k pen when we set somebody off balance. And as a Templar, this is super, super easy to do. Our main stun does off balance and is a gap closer. So it's kind of a no-brainer to run this. It's just a no-brainer. On the back bar, this is how we got our crazy resistances. Powered Master's Mace. You want powered because the resistances you get off of puncture with the heal scale with your healing. So inside of PvP, healing is nerfed quite a bit, but you still get about 4k off of this. So that's 4k that goes to you, which pushes you to like 42k spell and 40 fizz, something like that. I run double dot poisons on the back for puncture, just helps. I'm running Eternal Vigor for those really good recoveries you saw earlier, and I have one piece on the head to make up for the fact that I don't have a monster set. You could run a monster set and make this push even higher damage with a different gear layout that I'm going to talk about in a second. Sturdy on every piece that you can get. I have a couple that are reinforced just for the extra resistances. It's personal preference. You don't need triglyphs either. I was just trying them out, and they are definitely good. If you can afford them, do it. But if you can't, just put on max magic glyphs, which is what I have on the small stuff. So we also run this in 7 heavy. I don't think there's really a point in having light armor for just a 2-piece. Like there's not really much point in that to me. I'd rather just get the most health recovery and the most stuff I can get out of Constitution to help with sustain. And I run Eternal Vigor on the Jewlery and the God Ring. All infused spell damage. You already know what this does. So with our 23k pen and our 4k spell damage, this is gonna push everything up even higher. We're in heavy, we only have 10% crit. Like, there's no reason not to. There is another version that I'd like to mention. You don't have to run malacath, you don't have to run heavy. You could completely do away with this if you want to. I got a 1-piece Balorgs on. What you could do, you will be the hardest hitting man in the battleground or wherever if you do this instead. You have a light Balorgs. I don't have one on me. And you want to run 2 light Balorgs on the monster, and then 2 Eternal Vigor pieces on the body. Get rid of this, put on the other ring, and you'll basically have 5 light and 2 heavy with Balorgs. So light will give you an extra 5k pen, right? So we're already at 23, so that'll push us to 28. If you use Balorgs and you use 100 ultimate, that's 30k pen. Use 200 ultimate, that's like 33k pen. Yada yada yada. You can go into stupid pen. And weapon damage and, and spell damage as well. The reason I don't opt for that, personally, is just because it's easier to put gear together. Because Eternal Vigor's a heavy set, right? And if you want to run a heavy set on the Jewlery and the body, then you need 2 pieces on the body at all times. So that means whatever your monster set is going to be, they both have to be in the same armor type for it to be able to work. It's just a lot easier to put this together in heavy. You don't have to farm as much. You don't have to do as much. You can just slap it on and go. You don't even have to care. But you could push even more damage with a light armor setup. And you'd still be tanky. You'd only lose like 3k resistances. And we already have like 46 and 43, so, it's not the end of the world. But with the Master's Mace, I want to point something out. This will affect how much healing you get in total, obviously. And it also scales with your puncture, your Master's Sword and Board heal. So this will give us even more protections if we run heavy. If you run light, you don't get that. But it's definitely, it's tomato. And I'm not sure you really need like 35k pen. You don't need that at all. But it's definitely a way to go if you want to be balls to the wall spicy. So that's what I run on the gear. Let's get into the skills. So front bar, toppling charge. This is your gap closer, your off balance, your stun. It's everything. Everything you need. Right there, one skill. Degeneration. This will give us our major sorcery, and Templars are the only people that have a passive minor sorcery in them. The only other way to get it would be from like potions or poisons. We can stack more spell damage than other classes, usually. Solar Barrage. This will give us a flame AoE that does quite a bit of damage. And the Major Empower, it's it's sorta useful. It helps with bursting. Radiant Oppression, I go with the one that deals more damage because I really just want to kill them. And the good thing about this skill is that even if they roll dodge, as long as they're still on the same plane of existence as you, they're still going to get hit by it. You can't roll dodge it. If you get interrupted while casting this though, then you can't cast it for another 2 seconds. And where a lot of Templars fuck up is that they do this too early. Your jabs hit hard. You don't need to do this right out the gate. I would only start doing this at around 20%. Because with the amount of burst heals and stuff, if somebody burst heals and you're starting to Jesus beam them and they heal up and now they're at half and you're stuck in the animation for Jesus beam, you're missing out on pressuring them. So don't use this too early. I can't stress that enough. Don't use it too early. Puncturing Sweep heals you, slows them. Jabby jab. Something important I want to talk about with this skill is where you put it on your bar. R1, if you're using a controller or your right trigger, is the best place to put it. If you have it on your square or something like that, where most people put it, if your enemy starts like walking around like this and you're trying to turn around and hit them, your thumb is on the square button, but you won't be able to reach your right stick. So you'll be able to hit jabs, but you won't be able to turn. So if you keep it on R1, you can get full movement of both your sticks. Because if you just have it, let me see if I can show you. If you just have it on square, and then you try like moving around, it's not like as good. You have to like really like strain your thumb. It's not, trust me. You're gonna hit way less people if you keep it on square. Now in terms of ultimate, main ultimate, Crescent Sweep. This hits everyone, does a shit ton of burst damage, it's cheap, and it puts an AoE around you that deals damage every 2 seconds, up to like 4,000, I think, when we get buffed up. And this is the reason why the light armor setup kind of falls through a little bit, because Crescent Sweep is your main ultimate, and you're probably going to use it every time you get it, because it's just that good. So if you're only if you're ulting, and you have Balorgs, but the ultimate only costs like 100 ultimate, you're not getting that much benefit. Compared to a Stam Crow, wink wink. Like if you're a Stam Crow with 300 ultimate, and you have Balorgs on, it's going to be way more impactful than a Templar with a 70 ultimate cost with Balorgs. Which is why, another reason why I went heavy and just said fuck Balorgs for now. But it is really good. So for the back bar, we have Channeled Focus. This gives you sustain, really dumb resistances, and it's Rune Focus, come on. Breath of Life. So this will heal you for a shit ton. For me, when I kind of buff up a little bit, heals for about, can't really see that even, like 12k thing, and then when it does rarely crit, it goes to like 20. I think that's perfectly fine. You can heal like a truck. If you're in a battlegrounds and you see your friend struggling, and you got, like, you have a lot of magic recovery, you really do. Just toss them a Breath of Life. If you see your teammates like getting pounced on by 8 werewolves or some shit, just help them out. There's nothing wrong with helping them out. It's also, this morph also gets you some resources back, so it's not as intense as it looks. Moving on, we got Pierce Armor. This gives a major breach and minor breach. This is where 9k pen comes from. Having 9k pen on a single skill is really dumb. It's really dumb. Most of the time, I'd say about a third of the time, you're not really going to use this. You're going to look at somebody walking around and be like, I want to kill him. and then go in. But against those people that have 40k health and like 40k resistances, and you really need to pop them, an extra 9k pen goes a long way. It also procs our masters, which is the whole point of it. So that's why that's there. Don't underestimate it. Also, don't get the one that gives you minor protection. We already have 40k resistances. It's not like we need it. And also, from Adric Spear passives, we already get it. So there's no reason to get the other one. Might as well get the one that hurts them more. Living Dark, Templar Bubble. You all know it, you all have fought against it. It's dumb. This is extremely useful in a 1vx. If you're getting chased by a bunch of people and you're getting C-frag spam, every time they hit you, they get slowed. You also heal for a ton, and it occurs every half second. So with it constantly going off, it's about as much as regen from the restoration staff tree. And we don't have a resto staff on, so this is our primary heal over time. We already have 1, 2, 3 heals. So this is just a 4th one. We have 4 heals on the back. And this helps out a lot. Just if you're about to walk into a group of people and you know you're about to get focused, just pop it, walk in. It lasts 6 seconds, so you don't really need to apply it that often. And you only need to apply it when you need it. Usually Breath of Life and Pierce Armor will get you up. Even your jabs heals you. You don't need it every single time. Extended Ritual. This is our class cleanse. Blech. Try saying that again. Fuck. Gets rid of 5 harmful effects and gives us a heal every 2 seconds in a huge radius. Like this is ginormous. You can go anywhere in here and get a heal every 2 seconds. And it heals for a good amount. This is our other heal over time. And this one doesn't rely on people hitting you. It can just go down and be active. I do want to talk about what buttons you put on stuff here, because we are a sturdy build and we do have a sword and shield. So we're gonna block, right? And if you got people on you, your left finger is too busy holding down block. So what can you do while holding block? What is the most important to you? So everything on the right side of your controller, if you're PC, you don't have to worry about this, but everything on the right side of your controller is kind of what you need. So L1 is your least priority skill on the back. For me, that's Eclipse, or Living Dark, because while you're blocking, you can have your Breath of Life, you can have this, you need cleanse when you're blocking. I can't count the amount of times I've been blocking and they put 20 dots on me. And I just have to spam this shit to fucking live. So I like Extended Ritual there because you can do it while holding down block on R1. Your L1's off limits, basically. While you're looking around, you can puncture, which is really good to do while blocking. And you can also just Breath of Life and block. So you want to organize your skill bar in a way that's beneficial to you while blocking on the back. And final one, Ice Comet. You don't need it, but it's a surprise. People don't see it coming. And it hits hard as hell. So it has a lot of uses with the Templar. You can meteor somebody and then toppling charge in on them. And you'll stun them inside the meteor, and then they'll be slowed. And they can't get out, and then you can just jabs them. It's also really good if you just need a second. If you're surrounded by a bunch of people, and you just need them to fuck off for 2 seconds, then meteor. Meteor and get some space. It is undoubtedly a really good skill to have on the back. If you can't get meteor, or you just don't want to get meteor, put on the one-hand sword and shield alt on the back. It'll just help you live longer. I don't really think I need a defensive ult, personally. I like the extra surprise, and we are in heavy armor, so we need an ultimate that'll completely destroy somebody. And don't get me wrong, Crescent Sweep is good, but it doesn't do as much burst damage as Ice Comet. Sometimes we need that burst, because we have quite a bit of pressure with jabs, and degen, and solar barrage. But for those people that you need to catch off guard, Ice Comet is really, really good. Now that we're done the skills, I want to talk about sword versus destruction staff. Why would you run a sword over a staff? It's why. 1, it looks cool. 2, a sword will give you an extra 200 and something spell damage over a staff. And with a similar bonus, if we go into two-hander and we look at swords increase your damage by 6%, that affects everything, rather than an Inferno staff that would just be 8 of one type. Because we have mixed. We have a single target, I think this is single target, I don't even know anymore. And this one's AoE, this one's single target, this one's AoE, this one's also AoE, this one's single target. So we have a great mix of AoE and single target damage abilities. So having a sword will just buff everything. Having a staff with lower damage and very niche bonuses just isn't beneficial. At least on a Templar. Another benefit of the two-hander sword is the last passive, Battle Rush. I only have it stage 1. Yeah, fuck off. I know. But this will give you an extra 30% stamina recovery when you kill someone. So we already have 1,000 stam recovery. So if we pop a potion, we're at 1,400, and then another 30%, you'll be at like 1,700 stam recovery on a mag build. Which is stupid. That's really good. There's not really any other passives I really need to mention, other than the ones that you already know. Like, you know, Burning Light and all that, you already know about that. There's nothing really too nitty gritty to make a build, like basically around the passives like a Necromancer. So I'm not going to really bother going into the passives that much. Just get everything you can. Oh, my race was a Breton. I think I forgot to mention this. Any magic race basically works. Next one I would go with would probably be Argonian for the potion passive, and then High Elf. Alright, so let's go into CP. In the new patch is going to deliver a new CP system, but that's in June 1st is when that comes out. And that's not going to come for quite a few months. I think it's like 4 or 5 or something like that. So this CP is going to be reliable for 5 months. I have no doubt the build will be just as good with the new CP, maybe even better. So let's get into it real quick. 3 in Siphoner, 56 in the Warlord, 75 Arcanist, 27 Mooncalf, 43 Healthy, running Eternal Vigor and Health Recovery Food, 66 in the Shadow Ward. I don't have any in Tumbling. If you want some in Tumbling, go ahead. 56 in the Blessed. We're a Templar, and we have crazy burst heals. This also buffs our Master's Sword and Board. 75 into Elemental Expert, 58 into Spell Erosion, 81 into Master at Arms. Nothing in this tree. 56 into Ironclad, 26 Spell Shield. We don't need as much because of Templar passives, we get an extra 3k, or 2.5k, sorry. 32 into Crit Resist, 43 Hardy, 56 Quick Recovery. This also buffs the Master's Sword and Board, and 57 Heavy Armor Focus. Anyways, that's it for the build. Thank you guys for watching and staying through all that. I know it was a long time. Tried to throw in some music, but there ain't shit on the YouTube library. Like, there is nothing. But right here I've got a nice 2vx clip with my buddy Coles that I mentioned earlier. I'll leave a link in the description to his channel. He's a pretty cool guy. He's got some zombies videos and some ESO videos. And here he was on his Stam sorc and I'm on the Magplar obviously, and these group of like 5 reds all went down to us and this tanky ass werewolf for no reason. And then in this clip, I was off on my own in yellow territory and I saw a whole zerg of yellows. Tried to get their attention, so I just blew up this guy in the back. His blood spawn don't mean shit. It don't mean shit at all. And the other yellows just didn't notice or care. And went up behind. I started going on this guy. I didn't notice he was level 43 until after I looked the clip over. He lived very long for level 43. Good for him. And then this werewolf pounced on me. I was thinking, alright, you know what? Time to square up. Let's go. Fucking beating the shit out of this werewolf. And then the surprise gank squad with all the ultimates, in-cap, leap. Like, I had to get the hell out of there. And the insane healing power on this build, that's the only way I managed to even make it out of that one, right there. So I hit the puncture, toppling charge and add because why not. Went inside, I tried to do, you know, the nice 1vx Dawnbreaker, turn the corner bullshit. And we ate a Donnie there. And there's a bunch of dots on me and I'm kind of stuck in the doorway. There's nothing really I can do. And I died. You know, that happens. This is another one. I had 3 reds on me and they were hitting me with the proc cheese, the dot builds that are so annoying. Thank God Templars exist. Dealing with that shit on anything else, even in Necro, just kind of annoying. But I managed to turn on them. And I got the snare den, and then fossilized, and you know what happens.